What's up, guys? LQ here. I haven't gotten on here to talk about The Flash yet, so here we go. Let's talk about The Flash. Um, I know that a lot of people really, I mean, it's a very divisive movie, right? A lot of people really loved it and are definitely supporting it despite its flaws. And a lot of people just hate that this movie even exists. They look at it as an abomination. Um, I definitely fall on the positive side. There's a lot of flaws in this movie, but I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun. Let's talk about some of the good here. All right, first of all, you got Michael Keaton's Batman. Love seeing him back. Michael Keaton was my Batman when I was a kid. I grew up with Batman 89, Batman Returns. He was my first real exposure to Batman. Part of the reason why I became a comic book fan was Batman 89. It's great seeing him back here. Didn't really miss a beat. Same costume, same Batcave, same vehicles, the Batmobile, the Batwing, and they were able to do some stuff with him that they weren't able to do in '89 simply because we have better technology now. Great seeing him back. Um, Man of Steel is one of my favorite comic book movies of all time, and it's required viewing for this movie. You have to see Man of Steel to really appreciate everything that's happening in this movie, and they did some cool stuff with the events of Man of Steel here. There was some great cameos in this movie. Some of them have been well documented. Some of them were good surprises, but I really enjoyed a lot of the DC cameos. And I especially love some of them in the beginning when the Justice League makes an appearance in the movie. I don't think that's a spoiler. I think that, the trailers make it pretty clear the Justice League appears. And Ben Affleck, very short amount of time in this movie, but when he was in the movie, he definitely made a big impact. It was great seeing him back in this role one more time. The cameos were excellent. Definitely some really good fan service in this film. There was a lot of really good action sequences, and definitely the movie definitely moved at a very brisk pace. So I never felt bored, never really felt long. Definitely mixed on a couple things too. Um, this movie had a lot of jokes in them, and a lot of the jokes just didn't land. Um, and you know, if you're gonna pepper out that many jokes, you better make sure that most of them land. And that just wasn't the case here. I'd say it was about 50-50. Only about half the jokes land, the rest of them were kind of cringy. Um, and something else that I was kind of mixed on was just the storyline itself felt very. Let's put it this way: the villain. The villain wasn't well flushed out. For most of the movie, the main villain was General Zod, but you knew there was another villain in there because they tried to establish him early on in the movie. But the problem was that they didn't do enough with this villain throughout the movie. You kind of forgot he was there until the end. So for most of the movie, it's General Zod, who makes a good villain, but in this movie, he was kind of a one-dimensional villain. And then at the end, when the real villain shows himself, you kind of stopped caring at that point. So I was kind of mixed on that point of it. I was also kind of mixed on Sasha Calle's Supergirl. First of all, I think she was fantastic, but I think she was underutilized. I don't think they did enough with her. She showed up, had some beats as far as discovering why she should help humanity, and then we went into the final battle. So I definitely feel like they could have done more with Sasha Calle's Supergirl. Some stuff that I didn't like. Let's get it out of the way. Didn't like the CGI. The CGI just frankly wasn't that good. If you're gonna put all that money into this movie, let's make the CGI better. Um, I don't know how you can watch a movie like Jurassic Park or something from the 90s and it has better CGI than they have today. I've heard that a lot of the special effects companies are overworked and don't have enough time. That's clear because CGI today just isn't happening the way you want it to. Um, so, yeah, was not a fan of the CGI. I also was not a fan of some of the resolution of this movie. I did not like where they left Michael Keaton's Batman. I did not like where they left Sasha Calle's Supergirl. And I understand a lot of that was the point in the movie. Um, I'm not going to give any spoilers here, but there was something that Barry had to kind of accept in this movie, and and that was the point of it. I just didn't like it. I didn't like it. I would have rather seen, especially Michael Keaton's Batman, I would have rather seen them leave off on a more optimistic note than they did. Um, this is the end of the DCEU, apparently. And man, it was a roller coaster. Some great movies, some terrible movies. But I'm happy to say that Flash ended on a positive note. It wasn't the best DCU movie. Um, Definitely wasn't the worst. So I'd put this firmly in good category. It wasn't great by any stretch of the imagination. I know that some people said this is one of the greatest superhero movies ever made. I think James Gunn said it was one of the best superhero movies he'd ever seen. No, no, maybe it was David Zaslav that said that, but no, it's not. It's not. But it's good. It was a good movie. I enjoyed it. So DCEU, it was a nice run. Hopefully James Gunn universe can get their stuff together and start telling a story in a cohesive universe. So that's my take on Flash. What did you think of it? Let me know in the comments below.